Do you like basketball? Basketball 너무. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hey everybody, this is this week's free episode of the State of the League podcast. If you want another episode weekly plus a bunch of other fun perks, go to patreon.com/state of the league. Thank you. You gotta just lead into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary people. Welcome back. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the most liberal, forward-thinking podcast to ever be released. I'm Jack, aka Joestar. With me, as always, my host, the world-famous Pablo Escobar. Pablo, how you doing today?
Hello to all the NBs. All the NBs, head to your local Costco and try the Costco cookie. I tried it out. It's really good. $2, 750 calories. That's the bang for your buck.
Bulking season. There we go. I like that.
If I had to comp it to a cookie, I would comp it to the Starbucks cookie, which is a good cookie, and it is served warm as well. And so for everyone boycotting Starbucks, turns out the Starbucks boycotts worked. I thought it was just a bunch of TikTok kids going, yeah, we're making a difference. But now Starbucks is freaking out. I haven't been to Starbucks for the boycotts over Palestine and the prices and Howard Schultz's failed presidential campaign. I hate that guy. I don't even think he works there anymore, but it's too late. It's too late. So head on.
It's too late.
But all the non-binaries, I promise you'll love the Costco cookie.
Hell yeah. All right. I'm on board with that. Shout out non-binary people. Don't shout out fucking Starbucks. Starbucks, easiest shit in the world for me to boycott, just because and I don't want to sound like a boomer here, but it's a little expensive at Starbucks. $8 for a cup of coffee. Like, I don't know. It's too much. A nice handcrafted, like a local business, I'll pay fucking $7. I'll shell it out or whatever. But to support a giant corporation, like, you need to be rock bottom prices for the shit that you're doing over there, Starbucks. So yeah.
If McDonald's can charge $1 for coffee, everyone else can too. Don't pretend like you're above it, Starbucks. Don't pretend like you're above it, Dunkin' Donuts. You guys aren't doing anything revolutionary. You're just getting the job done.
I know, and especially Dunkin'. I promise.
America's supposed to run on them.
Yeah, the backbone, the blue collar coffee, and you're expensive. I was gonna say you won't need to have any gimmicks anymore if you make your coffee like dirt cheap. It feels like every drink that Dunkin' cranks out, it's like, we got this. It's got bells, it's got whistles. There's a slide coming out of the cup. Like, holy shit!
1,800 grams of sugar. It has like a year's worth of sugar. That's all I see. It's like people freaking out. Like, nutrition guy on TikTok goes and drinks it in the Dunkin' Donuts, and he's like, guys, this is the worst thing you could have humanly possible.
Like, you can't put this into your body more than twice a week or you will shut down.
They went Hollywood because of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
I know, yeah. Oh wow, you guys lucked in to being the coffee of a city. We get it, Duncan. We get it. I don't know. I like their donuts though. It's all right. It's fine. That's a nice, like, if I see a Dunkin' in an airport, I'm like, okay, I could eat a donut right now. I don't need to like wait in line for like a fucking full meal or anything. I could just grab this, go sit down, find a nice spot.
What's your go-to?
I like the blueberry cake donut.
Oh, okay.
It's gas, dude. It's really good. It's really good. What's yours?
I usually go double chocolate, or I'll go chocolate with sprinkles. Around Valentine's Day, I'm going brownie batter.
One thing though, I like the French cruller. I like the texture of it, but it's not enough. It's like half a donut's worth of like actual cake and everything. And so if I get that, I'm gonna need a second one. That's not gonna fill me up the same way the cake donut does. All right, we are talking about the West today, right? I just realized we didn't even.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We get 10 minutes into the fucking pod and we have the wrong prep done. Right off the bat, I have a lobbyist request that has nothing to do with basketball, but I was locked in. Have you seen Dune 2 yet?
I'm seeing it tonight.
Oh shit! Well, you can take this in. You can take this in.
Oh,
This is no spoiler. This is no spoiler territory or anything. But Fade Rautha, Mickey Mouse Gladiator. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. He's not really what his stats say. He's not like that. And there are certain characters. There's certain characters who really are like that in this movie. You're gonna have such a fucking good time. I gave it the first 5-star rating I ever given out on Letterboxd before. It's fucking phenomenal. It's like my favorite experience I've ever had in a theater, to be honest.
whoa.
And I sat next to annoying people for like the first 15 minutes of it. I moved once I was certain nobody was like had bought these other seats.
Did he kill them, guys? Are we sure he didn't kill them?
It would be bigger news. I'm close enough to the White House, and there was Secret Service like at the restaurant next door. No, not in the theater.
Oh, was Joe Biden next door?
He might have been. I don't know. There was just big SUVs with some flashing siren lights on near a restaurant. So like, someone's probably in there doing something.
Doing something.
Dune 2 something. Holy shit. Yeah. It fucking rocked. I got converted to not Muslim, not Islam, and not space Islam, but like whatever, because it's like a lot of propaganda shit going down in this movie. The propaganda got me. I'm all on board for whatever they want to do for the rest of the movies. It's totally fine.
What are they called? The something with the B, right?
The Bene Gesserit.
Is that it? Are you a Bene Gesserit?
Okay, well, I'm more of the Fremen. So the Bene Gesserit have been manipulating the Fremen into like this religious fervor. Like we need
So
to
you
retake.
worship the worms.
Yes. But from the Fremen perspective, the Bene Gesserit got me. Like I'm operating solely on emotion and faith right now, and it feels fucking phenomenal. I won't lie. I just eliminated all logic from my thinking, and I've just been riding high ever since that.
Could Joe Biden survive a screening of Dune?
Almost certainly not. The soundtrack shakes your seat a lot. It's I didn't see it in 4D. I saw some people who did. He could not survive that. But even just like regular movie experience, I don't have a ton of faith in that.
I was gonna say he wouldn't survive seeing the worm, but then he did tank seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday, so I think he might be okay.
kind of listen. I'm not a Biden supporter. The look he gave Marjorie Taylor Greene when he saw her in that hat, he said, "That fucking killed me, man." Because like he's not aware. He's not sentient. He doesn't know what's going on. So for you to get owned by that, like for you to lose to that in terms of like a posture battle or whatever the State of the Union really is. They stole our name, by the way.
They didn't talk about any NBA team, did they?
No, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. They're fucking up the brand. That's what I'm saying.
Shouldn't he have to talk about every state?
I don't know. I mean, that's what we are operating under. That's our business model. But you know the government. You know how they cut corners. We're just not like that around here. This is good old U.S. capitalist enterprise, and we're not cutting any corners over here.
And like Kanye says, they're making the Twix bigger to make us fat.
Yeah, damn it. They're giving us more bang for our buck. I hate when that happens. Timberwolves still at the top, but emotionally at the bottom. Karl Anthony Towns tore his meniscus. How are you feeling about Minnesota right now?
What a disaster. What a sad day. They need him, I think, to be a contender. I don't think they could really do it without him. He is a fantastic offensive player. The only bright side, and I think this gives them a real chance of falling out of the 1 seed, which is not good this year. The only bright side is that Naz Reid, like if you had to, it's better than losing Edwards probably, and it's better than losing Gobert just because Naz Reid can do more of the Karl Anthony Towns stuff. But I guess we're just going to learn how much. But they didn't even start Naz Reid; they started Kyle Anderson, and so I don't know. I don't know about that because that seems a little tough as well. Just
Well, the
Gobert,
spacing
Kyle
with
Anderson
that,
front court.
seems
Yeah.
insane. I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. But yeah, like at the same time, especially when you talk about like actual fit, it feels like Reed could slot into the power forward spot almost a little bit more naturally than Carl Anthony Towns did, just because Reed's more like 6'9", 6'10". Like he's not like a legit 7-footer, and he's extremely mobile. Obviously, with the ball in his hands, you see like the cool jelly fam, all that shit. But like he's very agile for a guy that size, and so I'm hopeful for how that's going to work out. I don't know how long they will start Anderson over Naz Reid. If every game goes like last night's game did, maybe they'll just do it the whole fucking time. That was my other big takeaway. It was like, what a roller coaster of emotions. It's like, holy shit, this is our season has been hobbled. Like, we really don't know what's going on. If you're a Minnesota fan, you've waited fucking decades essentially for a year like this to arise, and it's just gone horribly wrong at the worst possible moment. And then like 8 hours later, you're like, holy fuck, Anthony Edwards is the best 21-year-old alive.
This is the best block ever.
This is the best block in the history of basketball. What a fucking game for him. So yeah, the Wolves are 2-2 in their last 4 wins over the Pacers last night, and then the Blazers, they lost to the Clippers and the Kings. Anthony Edwards is the Lisan Al Gaib. I wrote that down. That's Timothy in the movie. So lock in. Imagine him as Anthony Edwards when you watch it tonight. There we fucking go. First play of the game, like pretty severely sprains his ankle. It looked like I was like, oh shit, like this is terrible. And then 10 minutes later, he's back on the floor after going to the locker room. He drops 44 points on
the
50.
LeBron special. Act like you've been shot and then come back and do something crazy.
Oh god, I fucking love that. Act like you've been shot. LeBron, I don't know. LeBron gets fouled a lot, but at the same time, I do get what you mean. A little bit of contact goes a long way with him. 16 points in the fourth quarter on some really tough shot making. I was like, oh my god, that shot, and someone replied, obvious push off, and then like 30 seconds later he dribbled down and made the exact same shot with even better defense on him, and they responded again. I saw the notification. They were like, all right, that one counts. And I was like, okay. Okay, cool, thanks guy. And then yeah, obviously like that block on one good ankle, I think his own personal athleticism is kind of benefiting from behind the scenes work of Jaden McDaniels. I think they took off right at the perfect time for Anthony Edwards to take McDaniel's momentum a little bit further and go even higher to get the block. It was almost like a double jump of sorts. That's what it looked like to me in slow motion. So do you have any thoughts about the game last night?
No slow-mo analysis on the jump. I didn't lock in that much. But yeah, nothing else. All I got to say is Luka Garza is also on the bench, so maybe he'll be able to fill that Karl Anthony Towns void as well. That game that they played against the Clippers, that was like a 2004 game. It was 89,
gnarly.
88.
Yeah.
And nobody made any shots. It's crazy. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, and they also beat the Blazers, but it was only by 5. And so let me read to you who the Blazers were playing without. They did not have Scoot Henderson. They did not have Toumani Camara. They did not have Jeremy Grant. And they've been without Brogdon and Sharp for a month. So who was playing? Was that the Duop Reith game?
Yeah, Duop Reith legacy game, baby. 26-9 against Rudy Gobert.
What a monster!
I know. Shout out to the lobbyist who likes Duop Reith.
Who told me drop? I love the phrasing they used. They said we need to drop Duop Reith pamphlets from planes,
which is funny to imagine. Most of the time that happens, you're dropping pamphlets onto the enemy as like propaganda.
Yeah.
So it's funny to imagine who is like rooting against Duop Reith that you need to like go deliver the information. They're like, oh fuck, this swung me over. I can't keep doing this. He's really like that. But yeah, the Blazers game was good. The Clippers game, I rewatched the fourth quarter of it. And there was like 5 minutes. It was like 5:34 left, and the score hit 79-78. And I was like, isn't the final score of this game 89-88 for the final five? And it was. And it was just, yeah, an absolute fucking rock fight. And even more than that, you see scores like that, and you're kind of under the assumption it's like lockdown defense the whole time. Everybody's just
It's
fucking
just bad offense.
yeah. No, like there was like 6 passes that hit people directly in the hands, and they just dropped it, and like it led to like a 30-second loose ball scramble with like a terrible shot at the end of the clock. Just like stupid basketball, but it was still fun. It was a fun game. Kawhi had a nice fourth quarter in that, I'm pretty sure. Other than that,
Which is that? Did Anthony Edwards show up late to that game? Which game did he show up late to?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about that. I didn't know he showed up late this week.
Yeah, I think he didn't start. They were like, "Oh, he showed up late." I think it had to do with his. I think he was like taking care of his kid and he lost track of time or something. But it is funny.
It is funny too. I don't know. You're like a professional. You're like, babe, I gotta go, and she's like, I just delivered this baby like 15 hours ago, and it's screaming. Do not leave right now. And he's like, all right, fine. I wrote down here. Okay, so I think the meniscus timeline that got put out will be reevaluated in a month. Which first of all, I don't know what the hell like operations they're doing. It feels like meniscuses used to be like a lot more substantial, but between this and the Embiid report, where he's probably going to be back well in time for the playoffs, the way people are talking about it, it feels like a minor injury at this point. That's just weird. But if he's 100% in 6 weeks, he would be like that's right for the start of the playoffs. 6 weeks from now is April 20th. But it's like I don't if he misses the first round between the Warriors, Lakers, Kings, and Mavs, do you think the Wolves can beat any of those teams with no Cat?
I don't know. It'll be. Yeah, it definitely hurts my confidence in them. It would be interesting, like a Mavs matchup would just be. I don't know who does that favor, because then it's Luka and them versus the best defense in the league, but then on the other end it's the worst defense in the league versus the worst offense in the playoffs.
That's so fucking funny. I hadn't imagined that. The worst offense and the worst defense going at it, and then it's like when Luka has the ball, it's like all-time fucking playoff. It's so much fun. Like they're just locking him up. They're getting good stops, but then on the other end, it's like, yeah, Anthony Edwards.
Luka Kyle Anderson battles.
Oh my god. Yeah, I said they could maybe beat the Kings. Gobert's a pretty like good matchup for Sabonis one-on-one. And they like Anthony Edwards and Fox. That's a matchup. Fox could easily win it, but you can also see a world where Anthony Edwards outplays him in a series. And so at that point, it's just on Minnesota to like play as good of defense as they have all season. But I don't know. It definitely like imagining them versus the Warriors or versus the Lakers, it does get a little bit scary, a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, Timberwolves fans are taking it surprisingly well from what I've seen online. I think they're just happy he's not out for the year, but we'll see if he's able to contribute once he comes back. Derrick Rose did it.
Hey, shout out to Derrick Rose, I guess. The Thunder, the 2 seed, 2-2 in their last 4 wins over the Blazers and the Suns, losses to the Spurs and the Lakers. It's kind of a weird stretch for pretty much every good team right now. The 1 seed is kind of like in limbo, and the Clippers have been kind of mid, the Thunder are a little bit mid, the Wolves are kind of mid, the Nuggets on top of the fucking world, best team in the league, baby. But what do you think about the Thunder right now?
They did lose to the Lakers, but it was their 3rd game in 4 days. So fake W for the Lakers, exhaustion for the Thunder. Bismack Biyombo, he passed out. Did you see that?
I did see that. That was a little scary.
He said it was nothing. It was dehydration. no worries, that's it. So hopefully
Well, if
that's
it's really
true.
nothing, I'm surprised that doesn't happen more. If you could just like
Yeah.
KO from dehydration, that feels like that would happen on the sidelines fairly often.
And yeah, this, I'll tell you what, this makes me. Does Bismack Biyombo need to drink more water to get into this Thunder rotation? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
But the Thunder 12-4 versus the top four teams in the East and West. It's yeah. So they what's it called? They got beat up by Nurkic, right? On the boards, and everyone was like, "Oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
we're in trouble." And I liked what Mark Dagnall said. He said a lot of nights we lose the rebounding battle, but as long as the benefit continues to outweigh the cost, we're going to continue to accept that trade-off. We're not going to be a perfect team, and at the end of the day, there's more to winning or something like that. And so I think, yeah, it is. There are some teams that we harp on their one fatal flaw, like more than everyone else. We always
Mm-hmm.
talk about the T Wolves half court offense, and we talk about OKC's rebounding, but like, yeah, like, do the Clippers have one big issue like that? I don't know. It feels like we might be hyper fixated. We might be looking for an issue, like the only issue that's there,
Mm-hmm.
because they're having success versus everyone. Their offense is great. Their defense is great. Everyone on their team is blooming. And so I'm, as time goes on, we really won't get an answer until the playoffs, but the rebounding stuff might not be dire.
Yeah, I wrote down the exact same quote. I thought it was super insightful. I saw a lot of Mavs fans were like, if Jason Kidd ever says anything this insightful about why the Thunder or why the Mavs struggle in a game, I'll lose my fucking mind. And yeah, I mean, it's a very, I don't know, to have perspective, to be mindful of why you're doing these things, and it's a pretty well spoken response. And it's not like the thing with Nurkic in that game is he got a lot of rebounds, but it's not like he didn't kill them in term like it would have been worse if he was more efficient as a scorer. He only had 14 points and he was like under 40% from the field, if I remember off the top of my head. And so there was like the rebounding sucked. It was more, what concerned me was more the fact that he was able to just like go wherever he wanted on the floor without any resistance. And so like if you give somebody with a more offensive talent like a Sabonis or like a Jokic or even Anthony Davis, if you let them do that, you'll probably see a little bit more punishment as far as like the end result of the game goes. But at the same time, I don't know. They love generating turnovers. They love being a fast team that can get out and run. They love being super spry and super switchable. So there are pros and cons to giving up that rebounding battle most nights. Other than that, I wrote down. I don't know. Giddy's. What do you think about Josh Giddey right now?
I'm in the same place we've been all season. It's just like, why is he still in the starting lineup?
It's so crazy. It feels like OKC is trying to prove a point when you watch him play. Like where like the front office is like, see, this is why we kept this guy, and then it's like, well, literally every situation except for transition offense and sideline out of bounds, he is actively making your team worse. And then like they throw Isaiah Joe out there, and it's like, oh, this guy fixes pretty much every problem, and there's really no drawbacks to playing this. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like if they're expecting to lean on him in a substantial way in a playoff setting, that's probably going to bite them in the ass. It feels like that's been on the horizon for weeks, but they're moving forward. We're in like the last stretch of the season, and it doesn't seem like there's a big shakeup to the starting lineup coming for them at this point. So yeah, I guess we're just riding it out and see what happens. I don't have a ton of faith in that. Do you have any
I
close?
don't know why he doesn't just do it now, because it's just gonna be it's going to be worse for Giddy if they're forced to do it in the playoffs for the first time. Like if they go down 0-2
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, all right, we clearly have to move this guy out. Then everyone's just going to be, the news cycle is going to be, could the Thunder win now that Josh Giddy, the suckish guy, is out of the lineup? Could they do way better because he's not there? So it's just bad for everyone involved. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Um, But yeah, Aaron Wiggins, thank you for saving basketball.
Hey, he does he's one of those guys where if you watch like 15 minutes of a game, you usually catch one Aaron Wiggins play at least, where it's like, whoa, okay, he's running out there. He's not as good as Alex Caruso, obviously, but you just like see him do some shit where he's like, I don't care if I get snapped in half on this play, I'm going for this basketball. And yeah, it's fun. Thank you for saving basketball. Ooh, the Denver Nuggets. Little ASMR. 3-1. 3-1 in their last four. Lost to the Suns the day after I shit all over Nurkic. We got fucking, I won't say cooked, but Jokic was kind of being a weenie about the
You
about.
lost the Nurkic trade.
Oh god damn it! I knew it since the end. I knew the playoff series a few years ago. That was fucking false. That was false. We were doing. I don't. I want to say Luol Deng was still in the league for that matchup, or no, it's Al-Farouq Aminu. We were exploiting the Al-Farouq Aminu minutes. It wasn't actually Nurkic being a bad defender. But then they had wins over the Heat, the Lakers, and the Celtics. The Suns win really does suck because they were down 20 and they full completed the comeback. They went up one, and KD immediately like hit a three and sent it into overtime. And the Nuggets did not even look like they wanted to be there in the overtime period. But the Lakers win rocked. The Celtics win was fucking monumentally impressive. What do you think about the Nuggets right now?
Yeah, the Celtics win is huge. Jokic feels like an unsolvable problem. Like when the game is close down the stretch, it just feels like you're getting the best possible look every single time, and so you have to be perfect. And the Celtics, it's interesting because I walked out of that game and I was like, yeah, Nuggets are still my number one contender. But then I was looking through and the Celtics did have a really bad shooting night. They were 29%, 11 of 38 from three. And the Nuggets also had a really bad shooting night. They were 4 for 21, 19%. And so I was looking at it. And so we know that it's the Celtics make the most threes. They're like the best 3-point shooting team in the league. It's big part of their success. And so uh number one, and the Nuggets are actually not good at 3-pointers. They are 16th in 3-point percentage. They are
Mm-hmm.
28th in attempts. The only teams that take less threes than the Nuggets are Detroit and Orlando. And then they're 26th in 3-pointers made. So the way this game went favored them. And so I wonder, how do you feel if it gets into a 7-game series, if it gets into a final series, do you have to count on the Celtics? How many off shooting nights can you survive? Because this seems to be closer to, well, 21% isn't the norm, or 19% isn't the norm, but this
Mm-hmm.
seems to be closer to the norm for the Nuggets and more of an aberration for the Celtics. But also that's what comes with that high variance shooting. And yeah, like people always say defenses don't really dictate, that you can dictate how many threes a team takes, but you can't really dictate whether they're making them or not. It's kind of like up to chance a little bit. And so how do you feel about the 3-point disparity for a potential final series?
I don't know. I thought about this a lot after the game because like Nuggets Twitter pointed out the 19% a ton, but it is a lot more like you describe, where especially like and it's not just that the Nuggets rely less on 3-pointers on a night to night basis. It's that on like disaster nights, you still have like this underlying framework where you can still really generate great offensive looks through like the Jokic Murray 2-man game into like Aaron Gordon lobs or Michael Porter Jr. kickouts, all that kind of shit. There's just a lot more going on offensively than there is for the Celtics when the 3-pointer isn't falling. Whereas like last night, it felt like if Jaylen Brown stopped being a fucking nuke, it probably like the Celtics did not really have an answer, and the Nuggets might kind of start to pull away. Obviously, that didn't happen. It was a close game for the entire series or for the entire night. But for like a 7-game series, I don't know. I am a little bit worried because the Celtics when they get like that, it's just it's super demoralizing. Like it just takes all of the wind out of your sails. I think I would still have faith in the Nuggets pulling it out over the course of a series. But I don't know. It's one of those problems because that's also unsolvable. It's like if the Celtics are hot, there's not a ton you could do. It was a no-show night from Tatum. It didn't feel like a particularly effective Porzingis night either.
3 for
Eh,
10 from 3.
yeah, yeah, like and they were open looks too. Like they were looks that if a few more of those fall, it's not just like a different game at the outcome. Like the momentum of the game is completely different, and that might switch things up. So I would still go with the Nuggets in a series for the shit I outlined with like they can just go to that Jokic Murray 2-man game. And Murray did not have a particularly strong game either. And so like that's something that would give me faith even if the Celtics kind of regress to the mean as far as shooting goes. But it would be I think it'd be a great series. I think it would be really fun because they also threw so much creative defensive stuff out there to try and stop Jokic.
Yeah, it's that really will be. I get in a sense it would be kind of like anticlimactic that like the two teams we all thought it would end up in the finals, but just 7 games of like I don't want to see that. I don't want to try and have to beat the Celtics 4 times, and I also don't want to try and beat Jokic and Murray
Yeah.
4 times. So it will be. There's a chance it could be an all-time great series.
Yeah, I agree with that. Everything else.
Could that have been could this one have been an MVP moment for Jokic? Is there enough juice? Are you seeing juice out there?
I think so. Because it also coincides with the Mavs, which we'll get to in a second, mid recently. So their win over the Heat, it just kind of like helps get Luka back into where he was in the minds of voters. Not even really. He's probably lost ground in the race
Yeah,
over
I
the
think
last.
he's lost ground.
And then Shea. I don't know. Shea's in an interesting spot because the Thunder lost to the Lakers, and it was like they did look tired, and it was the third in 4 nights. And then they beat the Blazers, and the Blazers are like, I don't know. You don't get a ton of credit for that. That's like when Jokic had like 30, 15, and 15 against the Wizards and the Spurs back to back, or the Wizards and the Pistons, whoever it was. And it's like, cool. Those teams, like, we have to wait until you play a good team again to really judge you. Whereas Jokic beating the best team in the league, I think that does a lot for MVP stocks for him, especially at this point in the season. Like, that's a marquee win. And at the end of a pretty solid stretch of like they had a lot of good opponents and they beat most of them. If they had the Suns win and they were on it, they'd be on an 8-game win streak right now. That would be like, I feel like we'd be hearing a lot more about it because that's just such a nice like phrase to hear. Oh, it's not that they've won 7 of 8; they're on an 8-game win streak. And but yeah, I think he's doing pretty solid in the MVP talks.
I wonder how much power a Lakers win and a Lakers loss has over the voting, because I just imagine if the voters are like Ramona Shelburne or like Dave McMenamin or something like that, like in their mind they'll be like, okay, Thunder lost to Lakers, they're not good, but Nuggets beat Lakers, they're really good. do you know the Dave McMenamin? I just heard this the other day, but it's from last year. Have you heard the Dave McMenamin like reaction to Brian Windhorst saying that the Nuggets could beat the Lakers in the playoffs if they get by Golden State?
I might have heard it. I watched a lot of like Nuggets revenge tour YouTube clips, but I don't know what Dave whatever looks like off the top of my head. So what did he say?
He was like, because they were, it was during the Warriors series. And he's like, if they beat the Warriors, who do you think they're going to lose to? Denver? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And he is the ultimate LeBron. He's what people think Brian Windhorst was. He's the ultimate just reporter
that just loves LeBron. I love that. It's also interesting to think about for how many voters, because like voters watch a ton of basketball, obviously, but you can't watch everything every night. And so I wonder,
not obviously.
so like I wonder how many voters see like the Lakers matchup and they're like, "Oh, I'll watch that game." Like I'm for sure tuning into that game. And so even if it's not like I love the Lakers so much, this really sways my opinion. If you just tune in and you haven't been paying attention to the fact that like OKC is 3-4 nights or whatever, and you only see the loss, like I wonder how much people are like, "Oh, he's not that good. 31 man's not that good."
They're too small.
They're too small. They got beat up on the rebounding battle. They can't rebound. I don't know if you guys knew this. Thunder can't rebound, everybody. Other than that, with the Nuggets, I did want to shout out the bench, which lobbyist requests, a couple of them, so this kind of leads into it. The first one says the streets are saying Peyton Watson is an absolute menace on defense. He's really been turning it up this season, and every block he gets just looks so sick with how athletic he is.
As soon as you say his name, that's why I picture him just flying in the air and swatting a shot.
Yeah, that's kind of become his signature play a little bit. He fucking rocks. He's a great that's a nice like draft pick hit for the Nuggets front office, just in terms of like bringing in a guy who's ready to contribute within 2 or 3 years. And even if like he doesn't, last night he was burying like tough deep 2 mid ranges. He didn't hit his threes very effectively, and he wasn't dunking the ball as much as you would like him to, but he was still like, he was hitting a lot of hard shots. If that doesn't happen in the playoffs and he's like generally not as good as he was in the regular season this year, that would suck, and like that would impact Denver's ability to win a title. But you still see the vision between him and Christian Brown with what Denver is trying to do, like getting role players for the established core through the draft. And so like him, when he's, I don't know, like 2, 3, 4 years into the league, I think he'll be really, really solid. And I liked his performance a lot last night. And I think his coolness factor on his blocks, it balances out the fact that every time Jokic gets a block, it's the lamest fucking thing in the world. It's so boring. Like the ball just goes a different direction, and you're like, did anyone even like move during that play? That was so stupid. And then the other lobbyist request: did Joe Biden cook at the State of the Union? Shut up. And thoughts on the Nuggets skipping the White House visit to lock in for a game against the Catless Wolves on March 19th. What do you think about that?
I did not watch the State of the Union. Both of these things happened last night, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and there was also a Bulls game on that I did not watch because it was happening at the same time. And so out of all these things, I picked the Nuggets Celtics, and I didn't regret it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Joe Biden did. It's fun. It's like, what does he like? The baseline is so low. He just doesn't look like he's about to die, and people are excited. What did he say? I didn't even see highlights.
Oh, I have no idea. This person, I'm just saying exactly what the lobbyist request said. I put out the post. I figured we could talk about it. I don't know what he said. I just thought it was funny that the Nuggets are like, we're busy that day. We have to lock in for the Wolves. That's so fucking funny. And it's funny that like, when Trump was in office, like it's such a layup political stance for like a generally liberal league to take. Is like, yeah, we're not gonna visit this guy in office. Fuck you. But
if you do visit him, you're like, we'll visit anyone. It's bigger than basketball. We'll visit anyone, and then they're just there.
We're hanging out with Benito Mussolini next week. Okay. Yeah, and so like, I don't know. What was I gonna say? Something about the Nuggets skipping the White House.
Timberwolves.
Yeah, like, so saying you're not gonna go, it's easy when Donald Trump is in office, but you have to like make up an excuse to not go when it's Joe Biden. You have to be like, oh, we got the Wolves the next day, so sorry, we're not gonna be. I wish it was a worse team. I wish it was like, we have the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow, so we can't make it to the White House. Sorry, Joe. Not that he even, I put some cardboard cutouts in the room and he'll be fucking good to go. You could Photoshop everybody in.
Could Could anything matter less to Jokic and probably to Jamal Murray? He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
How many foreigners do we have on this team? They don't care about meeting Joe Biden.
It's funny. The locker room's taking a vote, and they're like, "No, that's fucking stupid. Nobody cares." And Michael Porter Jr.'s in the corner, like, "Yeah, no one cares, guys. Like, I don't
Well, no,
even
he's
want
a
to go."
Trump guy.
Oh shit. Okay, perfect. So he's probably like, yeah, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. He's in the corner. Let's go, Brandon, guys. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, what a guy, Michael Porter Jr. Just great takes. He's constantly cranking them out.
That was one of the things about him, like a red flag pre-draft. Like there was like his back might explode, and also he might be a Trump supporter.
Might be a Trump supporter, which I mean, like the world we live in now, it's just I don't know, like everything is going insane and everybody's a fucking crazy person the entire time. But like back then, a Trump supporter, like you're like, holy shit, this guy, he's a fucking psychopath. Oh my god. So yeah, probably not a shout out to Michael Porter Jr. Although he did play well against the Celtics. I think he might be coming up in my awards actually. So let's veer off that topic. The Clippers, baby, 3-1 in their last 4 wins over the Rockets, Wolves, and Wizards. They lost to the Bucks without Giannis. Embarrassing. Really eventful week for the Clippers, to be honest. The Bucks loss sucked. They had the first game where neither team scored 90 since like 2017, I believe. And then the Rockets game, they come back from like down 20 on the road versus the Rockets are like a really good team at home, as we've covered before. So what do you think about the Clippers right now?
And shout out Norm Powell, 24 Savage. In that Timberwolves game, everyone sucked except for Kawhi and except for him. He was 9 for 13. What an elite bench force. But yeah, they're kind of in the same spot they have been. The PG stuff is worrying, although he did come out and say that he's been playing with his knee injury all season long, and it's just been like he's been managing it, but recently he just needed a breather. So that doesn't give me the bet. That doesn't make me super confident in his long-term health and like long-term performances, because it seems like he's been like feast or famine lately. He either goes off or he's throwing a stinker out there. So yeah, I don't know. The Clippers, they're clipping. Those kids broke into the stadium.
I know, idiots. Put a mask on, guys. Just you don't have to put your face directly in the middle of the camera. That's all I want to say. The Minnesota win, ugly, stupid. Norm Powell was really good. Kawhi, Paul George, Powell scored all of the Clippers' 22 points in the fourth quarter. Harden goes 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 3 in the fourth quarter. They made one field goal in the final 3 minutes and 18 seconds of that Minnesota game. It was really, really gnarly offense, but still kind of fun to watch in a stupid way. The Bucks loss. They ended the first quarter up 10. They got outscored by 17 over the next 3. You don't really, I don't believe the Clippers have a chance if Kawhi is going to shoot 30% from the field. So, and he did that in this game. That doesn't like freak me the fuck out. Bobby Portis, 28 points and 16 rebounds on 74% true shooting off the bench. I mean, we'll talk about it on the Patreon if you want to lock in over there. But he's kind of been killing it lately. Bobby Portis, the Nas Reed of 2021. That's what many people were saying.
Bulls legend.
Fucking got Mirotic back to Europe with a nasty right hook. It's pretty sad stuff. Yeah, that's all I got on the Clippers. It's weird. I'm pretty sure they're like around 500 since the All-Star break. Like they haven't been killing it, but 3-1 this week. You can't hate on them too much.
Yeah, that's all I got on them.
Yeah. Maybe you guys should be more entertaining if you want more talk. Maybe you guys, somebody have a kid in the middle of a game and we'll talk about you a little bit longer.
They already had their arc. They already went from man, are Kawhi and Paul George going to do it? Oh my God, we traded for James Harden. Oh my God, this is the worst trade in the world. Oh my God, it's the best trade in the world. And now we're over it.
All right, yeah, nobody cares anymore. That's how fast shit moves in the NBA, baby.
Career move for that guy who went on the big rant, and he's like, James Harden is the worst guy. And then everyone's like, yes, this guy's spitting. And then James Harden did good, and they were like, that guy wasn't spitting. That guy's actually the worst. We hate that guy.
It's so funny. Just the malleability of the public. You're anonymous. Like, the public has no face and no set opinion, so it cannot be held to any standard. So the fact that he cooks on TV, and everybody likes it. I remember everyone liked it. Sponhauer took like a big staunch stance against it, and he was the only person I saw that was like, this is bullshit. And then Harden starts cooking, and everyone's like, actually, I think this guy might have been wrong. And it's like, well, no, come on. Stand by your guns. It's fine to not like James Harden. It's okay, guys. And that's pretty much all that guy was doing, was like, I don't like James Harden. All the personal stuff he's done. I don't like that he goes to strip clubs, shit like that. It's fine to hold that opinion, but don't just abandon it because he's averaging 17 and 10, and the Clippers are pretty good. That's pretty soft. That's all I'm gonna say. You like my cup? Little souvenir cup. Wizards City Edition, baby. Breaking boundaries.
Breaking boundaries. No more borders in DC. Communist state.
That's what people are saying. No more. And there's something about voting. We don't give votes here. It's like the state itself is not. It's not a state. It's not a state. The city is not represented. But what is a state is Louisiana. Shout out to Huey Long, the New Orleans Pelicans, 3-1 in their last 4.
Who's Huey Long? Is that a jazz guy?
No, he's a based politician from like the 20s that was like staunch, like super socialist, and he got assassinated down there. Yeah, and so I'm reading a book where it was written in like 1936. It's called "It Can't Happen Here." And it's I love it. It's like listening to a radio play, all of the fucking like old timey language and everything.
Down in the Big Easy.
Yeah. They're like this Huey Long fellow with all his crazy ideas. So that fucking rocks. The Pelicans 3-1 in their last 4 wins over the Raptors, Pacers, and Knicks, and then they lost to the Pacers as well. Friend of the motherfucking program, Trey Murphy, obliterates the Raptors. He is the meteor. He is the ash cloud that initiated the Ice Age, baby. They're extinct because of Trey Murphy. 34 points on phenomenal fucking shooting. They beat the Raptors by like 41 points. That rocked. Pelicans are 11-4 in their last 15 games. What are you feeling about them right now?
I'm Pelicans pilled. Flock up. What do they say? I don't even know.
I don't know. Skeleton maxing. That's what we're doing over here, baby.
They say something about the flock. They're always talking about the flock. But Herb Jones is shooting 44% from 3 this year on good volume. I'll tell you what, that is insane. I'm going to tell you his college 3-point percentages. So this is a 4-year player.
Okay.
Freshman year, 27%. Sophomore year, 29%. Junior year, 7%. 7.
Oh, shit. How many games did he play his junior year?
I don't know. I forget. But it was very low volume.
Okay.
But 35% his senior year. And so that was a huge step for him. Everyone's like, whoa, Herb Jones making 1-3 a game. This is huge. But I can't say I was optimistic about his jump shot. Now that he's shooting 44%, still three attempts isn't crazy volume, but still that's crazy that you can't just leave him wide open. And so he is on one of the best contracts in the entire NBA. He's one of the most valuable players, I think, in the NBA. The Pelicans, I think they're still 4th in net rating on the year, which feels crazy because it feels like they're spiraling out of control all the time. But they're 3-1 this week, and so things are going well for the Pelicans. Zion said he'll do the dunk contest if he's an all-star next year. Guys love doing that. They're like, yeah, I'll do it if you make me an all-star. Zach LaVine did that the year in Chicago. I think Aaron Gordon has come out and said that too. He's like, yeah, I'll do it again if I'm an all-star. Make me an all-star. So would that be so funny if like all-star voting suddenly shifts to whoever we want to see in the dunk contest that's not doing it?
Hell
like,
yeah.
We'll get him in there.
Well, Zion's probably a little bit more tangible than Aaron Gordon could get like an Andrew Wiggins All-Star appearance if Denver had motion like that.
They'd
But
have to
they
be
don't.
like undefeated.
Yeah, it'd have to be crazy. But yeah, Zion he could make it. If we were going off like the last 30 games, he'd probably deserve a spot in there. He's been really solid lately.
So I've got, I was looking at their Reddit page. I've got the New Orleans Pelicans Dynasty Blueprint by NLA 2441. So this is a 5-step process for a destiny. Are you, or not a dynasty? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Step 1, and these are his words. These are not my words. These are his words. Step 1, draft LeBron's garbage son from USC.
Perfect.
Step 2, then sign LeBrick to a vet minimum so he can live his dream of playing with his shit kid franchise. So he can live his dream of playing with his shit kid. Step 3, franchise value skyrockets. Step 4, then Gale sells to a Saudi prince. Any Gulf monarch will suffice. Step 5, sit back and watch Saudi prince run the franchise like a nonprofit living above the luxury tax. Checkmate. that was his plan.
I like that. That's fun.
It could work out. And then another Reddit user, Connie Lingus 38, shout out Connie. They want to make a Larry Nance fan section. They suggested that they make a Larry Nance fan section in the stadium, and they call it the Nancy Boys. And so shout out the Nancy Boys. We identify on this podcast as Nancy Boys.
Oh, we're huge Nancy Boys over here. Yeah, I love Larry Nance. He's good. He's talented.
Friend of the program, correct?
Yeah, friend of the program. Yes. We've had a couple, not quite. Trey Murphy, that's the OG #1 friend of the program. But Larry Nance is up there. I'm sure. I like him. And also Crohn's disease. So he's representative. He fills a nice little I don't know if that technically fills the disability niche for us, but as far as diversity,
we're big with Crohn's people, huh?
Yeah. Tummy hurt. That's as far. I don't know like the real symptoms of Crohn's disease.
I don't know what it does either.
It is serious, and Larry Nance, shout out to him.
Can't be that serious if he's dunking.
If he's balling out like that. Goddamn.
Sorry, Larry.
Sorry, Larry. Yeah. So in the last, I have the last 15 written down here. Second in defense, fifth in offense, second in net rating. Herb Jones is 13 points on 74% true shooting. He's 56% from 3 on 3.8 attempts per game. So three is not good volume. It's funny how my brain switches. Like 3, I'm like, that's nothing. 3.8, this guy's like, that's damn near a volume shooter.
4.
Holy shit. 4, that's pretty much 6. I mean, geez Louise, man. Zion's 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists on 59% true shooting. Ingram, 23.
Bad for Zion.
Yeah, I know. Well, his free throw percentage, 75%. That's not like ideal, but he's 54% from the field, and he gets beat up all the time. And so I don't know. Respect Zion. Ingram's 23, 5, and 6 on 60% true shooting. Honestly, their schedule during this stretch, a little mid. I don't want to like shit all over it, but they beat the Clippers, so we'll take the dub. And then the weird thing is, so like going down the standings, obviously the top 4 seeds have pretty solid records against teams above 500. Like they're all a few games over 500 versus opponents of that quality. And then the Pelicans are 19 and 16 versus teams above 500. Everyone else below them in the standings, the Suns are exactly 17 and 17 right now. And then everyone below that is at least 5 games below 500 against good opponents. So it's I don't know. Like it's weird that they kind of like group with the elite teams of the West when you examine them through that lens.
Yeah, they've been hard to place all year long. But I'm hoping they get hot here at the right time, and we get a Pelicans resurgence. We get some Zion playoff dunks in guys' faces.
Passing of the torch moment. Clippers Pelicans first round. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, the real elite wing duo of the 2020s. They take the torch away from Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George goes back to Indiana or wherever he wants to go. No extension. Kawhi retires. James Harden is balling alone in the new arena. It's really sad.
PJ
Yeah.
Tucker puts out an Instagram story saying, "I would have shut down Zion if they
I would have
played
shut
me."
down Zion. I would have stood in the corner and I would have shut down Zion, baby. Yeah, other than that, lobbyist request. Herb Jones, easily a top 3 defender in the league and should be a top tier DPOY candidate, but isn't because the
Oh,
Pels are a small market. What do you think about that take?
they are. What's their defense on the year? Do we know?
Off the top of my head, I want to say 6th, but let me double check that. So fill air right now.
So let's see. If we're going him versus Wemby, then you say, well, Wemby's team defense is ranked horribly. They're frauds. It's too early for Wemby. He probably won't be able to beat out Gobert, right? Just Gobert has name value, the number
Mm-hmm.
one seed, and they're the number one defense. And especially with Towns out, if they stay the number one defense, even though Towns was like, yeah, people would just be like, he did it without. It's just Gobert carry job. So. I would
Oh, fuck.
assume it's
I forgot to
probably
read another lobbyist request. That reminded me. Nikhil Alexander-Walker is an elite point of attack defender. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. It was with the
he
Wolves.
is.
Yeah,
Former
elite perimeter
Pelican,
defender.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker. How did they let him go?
I know. Well, it's kind of like the Bulls where there's just like a ton of like just good point of attack defenders down there between Jose
Mhm.
Alvarado and I'm Dyson Daniels, who's hurt right now, and so I don't know. There's just like a lot of guards that can defend, so they kind of had a glut and had to let somebody go. I would say, okay, Gobert's obviously number 1. What's like? I'll Google the odds right now. What's like the motion for number 2? Is it still Wemby? Because like I've seen a lot of people really push that bad team defense shouldn't win DPOY narrative.
I don't know I don't know if the national media has recognized Jared Allen, and then
Yeah.
I don't know who else would be in the convo.
Okay, let me look at this right now. So Gobert is 1, Wemby's 2, Allen's 3, Bam is 4, and Anthony Davis is 5. I'm comfortable with putting Herb over Anthony Davis this season. As far as the award goes, I would still probably rank Anthony Davis as like a better defender. But Herb's been fucking killing it, man. Like he's insane. And just the shit he can do to like a star player on any given night. Tyrese Halliburton knows he's scared. He's got nightmares, man.
That team is not that great at defense. So it's really him.
I know. Yeah, they have guys that like
they have names, but I don't know. Like, yeah, it's all him.
Mm-hmm. Especially, yeah, I mean, like they have like if you put an elite anchor like center behind them, I'm sure Brandon Ingram could be part of like a great defense. And I mean, they're 6th right now, so he is actively being part of a solid one. Zion, yeah, if he was Duke Zion, I mean, that helps that rim protection, baby. That'd be crazy. But right now, it's just kind of like
he is getting better little by little. I see more jumps out of him. I see more flying. Oh my God, Zion blocked him.
Holy shit. Okay. Pelicans, yeah, we love you. We love you, Pelicans. The Suns hate you. Evil. Stupid, even. 2-2 in their last 4. Wins over the Raptors and the Nuggets. Losses to the Thunder and the Rockets. Both of these wins were solid for different reasons. The Nuggets, obviously defending champs, one of the best teams in the league. And
frauds though, but yeah,
it's all right. It's fine. And so Nuggets made that big comeback. A bad team would have lost that game, would have given up. The Suns did the good team thing, and they kept going. They won it in overtime. Kevin Durant, 8 points on 100% from the field in the overtime period, despite going 4 of 18 from the field in the second half. So he kind of turned it on right at the right time. Grayson Allen's been a
overtime merchant.
Bright lights merchant. He's stealing Jamal Murray's flow. This is so embarrassing. You're supposed to be a Hall of Famer, bro. Get your own thing. Yeah. What do you think about the Suns right now?
The Triple Towers lineup, I tracked it. Last time we
Mm-hmm.
talked, I think they were at like 53 possessions or something like that. They're up to 69 possessions. Elite defensively still, bad offensively. So we're going to see what goes on with the Triple Towers, but the Triple Towers could be the key to everything. But yeah, Royce O'Neal is shooting 39% from three since he got there. Things are going well for them. Grayson Allen is still in God mode. He had back-to-back 8 threes in a game. Yeah, they beat the Fraud Nuggets. Devin Booker's been out, so that this team is where it has been. So I don't know where I'm same place as them. They're getting All-Star Weekend 2027.
They are. And All-Star, they're getting WNBA All-Star Weekend this year, I'm pretty sure. So
Caitlin
yeah.
Caitlin Clark in the desert. Wow.
Oh, she'll get out of Indianapolis for a while at the very least.
Oh, thank God, man.
I said so. If you're Phoenix, let's pull up the standings right now. Like what team do you want to match up with? It's interesting because first of all, with how tightly packed the top 4 and the bottom 4 in the West are, or I guess the bottom like 8 all the way through the bottom of the play-in. You're not really going to know who you're matching up with until pretty late, maybe even like final day of the season type shit. But if you're the Suns right now, you are pulling the Nuggets first round. Pretty much a nightmare scenario, you have to imagine.
They're the 8th seed?
No, the Nuggets are the 3 seed. The Suns are the 6 seed.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking?
And
okay. What's Dallas? Are they 7?
Dallas is 8. So it goes Phoenix 6, Kings 7, Mavs 8, Warriors 9, Lakers 10. And there is.
And who's 4-5? Clippers and.
Yeah, Clippers and Pelicans are 4-5. So if you jump the Pels, you get the Clippers first round. If you drop, you're probably going to pull like Oklahoma City or Minnesota. Minnesota's starting to feel like, I mean, if Towns comes back and is like not 100%, that's almost like the Grizzlies last year. Once Ja's hand got hurt, it's like, oh well, what the fuck are we doing here? So if you're the Suns, right where you are right now is pretty much the worst spot. You don't want to see the Nuggets first round, but if you could catch them later on, you're going to have to go through them at some point. But I don't know. First round is not ideal.
Yeah, I think probably you want to see the Pelicans or the Timberwolves because like we talked about earlier, I think the offensive part is the stronger part for the Suns, and so they would rather test their offense. They would rather have their offense versus the Timberwolves' great defense, and then just have our defense might be a little suspect in the playoffs versus the Timberwolves' suspect offense. So that might work out in their favor.
If you're have you seen Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah.
Kurapika killing Uvo, the first Phantom Troop kill. He's like, if my chains could hold you, they could hold anybody. So the Suns, if we could score on Minnesota, we can take out anybody with this offense. That's the approach they're taking.
Yeah, it sounds like it probably is not going to happen, but if they could get a Mavs matchup or a Lakers matchup, then Vogel could win the matchup. He could win the coaching matchup. So he might be able to win the Willie Green coaching matchup. I don't know.
It's interesting because, I mean, the Suns, if they stayed right there, I think the Wolves have the capacity to fall, which the Suns have the hardest schedule left in the league. But the Wolves have the 12th. They play the Nuggets 3 times. They play the Clippers once, the Cavs twice, the Suns twice. So you could make a fair amount of ground there. And then they play the Warriors once and the Lakers twice. So that's a ton of games for Minnesota to do without Karl Anthony Towns. And so they could fall. The Nuggets are 22 in strength of schedule remaining, and the Thunder, where the hell are they? They're 15th. So I don't know. Minnesota could fall to 3. I could see that happening, and so maybe they get that matchup. But the Mavs, that's ideal. But I don't think the way Dallas has played lately, that would be like Luka would win MVP if they go all the way up to where like Phoenix can get him in a matchup.
Maybe you do want to see OKC just just thinking about how the Suns get killed off like second chance points, and OKC's the worst rebounding team. Like maybe you do just want to be like, hey, but they won't hurt us there. So if you're not hurting us there, where are you going to hurt us?
Exactly. Bad rebounding team, triple towers. We're just fucking dominating you on the boards. Bull, 15 rebounds per
Better
game
than
in a
Chet.
sweep. Better than Chet. That's what Shaq's saying. Because if he's as good as Wemby, he's better than Chet. So, that's all I got on the Suns. Beyond that, okay, we got the Kings right below them. They're 3-1 in their last 4. They beat the Timberwolves.
That won't come.
You have a sneeze?
It won't come.
Look at the sun right now.
There's no sun. It's stormy.
You can still look at like the light. That's what I do.
It's too late. I lost it.
Damn. Do you know that trick? I'll do it with my flashlight.
Yeah, I do. I do look at the light.
Okay. So yeah, the Kings, they beat the Timberwolves, the Lakers, and the Spurs. They lost to the Bulls. The Spurs game, nobody was watching because they were watching the Nuggets game for most of it. But it was pretty exciting from what I gathered. It was a nail biter right down to the final seconds. Pretty solid wins over the Wolves and the Lakers. Malik Monk, very, very good bench player. They made a solid comeback. They were down like 20 in the first quarter to the Lakers, and Malik Monk had 14 in the second quarter, and that was a big reason that the Kings were able to get back into it. And by like halftime, they were up nearly 20 themselves. They were up like 17 or something like that. And then he was also the driving reason they were able to win over the Wolves without Fox. He had 39. What do you think about the Kings right now?
Fox. He's been going crazy. Sacramento has won 6 of the last 7 versus the Lakers. They own them. They're the real California team. The Lakers are frauds. But yeah, they blew a 22-point lead to the Bulls. What did I write right here? Oh yeah, I wrote. Imagine if Westbrook, Harden, and Jokic never broke the triple-double barrier, and Sabonis was the first guy to do it. I wonder how we would be talking about it. I wonder how we'd be thinking, like, would people still value it, or would they be like, oh my God, he's the next Oscar Robertson, he's on the Kings, it's destiny, or would they be like, Sabonis is doing it? That's kind of lame. I'm kind of over that.
I don't know. I think. Really think back to Westbrook's MVP season, the aura that the words triple-double had back then, like it was crazy. And so like if Sabonis got all that clout, to be honest, he'd probably be higher in a lot of MVP talks just because of that. Like because Kendrick Perkins could get on and say the line, Sabonis is averaging nearly a triple-double, and it would carry like a ton of weight in people's hearts instead of just being like, oh, like Şengün is, like everybody else is, like it's fine. So yeah, it's kind of lost a bit of its allure in recent years. But Sabonis, he's still been really good for them, man. The last bullet I had was De'Aaron Fox back-to-back lights out performances. 44 versus the Lakers, 33 versus the Spurs, 17 in the fourth versus the Spurs. That feels a little bit more like the player we were seeing every week last year. Every week they were in a clutch game like the Bulls this year, and every week De'Aaron Fox was like, here's 16 points in the fourth quarter, and we're going to win this game, and we're the 3 seed now. Cool. Yeah, that hasn't exactly been there this season, but if they could get it back for the playoffs, I'm sure that would be a welcome sight for everybody who's a fan in Sacramento.
DeRozan's the real clutch king. Suck it, Aaron Schroeder.
Yeah.
But, Keon Ellis, the best number 23 in basketball history, maybe. Mason Jones. So Mason Jones is a guy I loved in college. 6'5" guy, used to weigh 300 something pounds. He was a football center. And then he lost a bunch of weight, became a basketball player, went to Arkansas, was shooting like 70% at the rim on his drives, and was like a big time 3-point shot maker. The guy can't jump 2 inches off the ground, but somehow he was finishing that prolifically. He's been bouncing around. He hasn't really gotten a long stay at any team, but he's always been super efficient everywhere he goes. He's with the Kings. He is tearing it up for their G League team right now. And then I guess by day he plays for the G League team, and by night he comes to the Kings games and just stands on the bench and just is there for vibes. Everyone's like, we love Mason Jones. This guy is the best. He's celebrating all the time. He's a great energy vibes guy. So shout out Mason Jones. Also, did you see the picture of Vivek with his pen?
Vivek, like Ramaswamy, the guy?
Yeah, the owner.
Wait, okay, so I'm thinking there's a guy who is running for president named
Oh,
Vivek.
no. What is this? What's his name? Vivek.
Let's
Crap.
Google it.
The Kings
owner name.
Vivek.
Vivek.
Oh, Ramadive. That's it.
Ranadive. Well, that's not fair. Those do. That's like John Johnson versus Jim Johnson or some shit. Like those are phonetic. Yeah. Johansson. So yeah. What about his pen?
There was a picture of him on a private jet, and I don't know if the caption was joking or not. I think it was serious. I think he had like a vape pen that's shaped like the Sacramento Beam, and he's getting lit to it. He's hitting the pen.
Kings owner vape pen. Let's just Google. Let's just hit a quick Google image
Does
search.
the internet know what is it if they reported on?
There's nothing. Sacramento. This is all just like ads for vapes.
I don't know where he posted it. I saw it on their Reddit page.
That fucking rocks. Hell, well, I mean, yeah, good for him, I guess. Fucking ball out. If I was rich, I'd probably be doing shit like that too. What is the shape of the beam? Is it just purple and in a straight line, or like?
There was like a big black thing on top. I don't even. Yeah, it was like purple and black. I really don't know what the actual beam device looks like either. But that's what they were saying what it was.
Okay, right on. Well, I'm sure he's not super annoying to be around. I'll leave with that. I'm sure that when he whips that out, everybody, all his yes men are like, sweet. He's gonna get fucking baked now, and he's gonna tell us a bunch of great
He's
ideas.
reminiscing on the Nick Stauskas days. Shoots like Clay, big like Curry.
Oh my god!
Oh no, I got that flipped. Oh,
big like Clay. There we go. Well, shooting like if you're just big like Clay and shoot like Clay, that's fine too. That's better than like 95% of Kings players over the last 10 years. Moving on to speaking of things that Klay Thompson is better than. The Dallas Mavericks, baby. They fucking stink.
He's better than all of them?
He's better than all of them. You heard it here first. 2024 Klay Thompson better than Luka Doncic. Not even really a debate because the Warriors, we'll get to them in a little bit, but the Mavericks 1-3 in their last 4.
Ooh.
They beat the Heat. Oh, congratulations! And then they lost to the Pacers.
Finals rematch.
Yeah, there we go. Pacers, 76ers, and Celtics were the losses. Disgusting stretch of basketball for them post All-Star break, which really fucks up the vibes of like, oh, dude, PJ Washington just needed to be in a winning environment, man. Oh my God, Daniel Gafford, he's averaging like fucking 12 rebounds a game off the bench for them. They are the worst defense in the league over the past 8 games, a full 2 points worse than your Washington Wizards, baby. Hashtag for the district.
Oh, Lord.
They gave up 6 straight games of 120 points. And it's not like this is a gauntlet run of offensive opponents either. I went through, I got like all the offensive ratings post All-Star break of these teams. So Phoenix is 18th. The Pacers are 5th. The Cavs are 24th. The Raptors are 17th. Boston's first, obviously. Then the Sixers are 19th. The Pacers are 5th again. And Miami is 9th. So more often than not, you're facing like a bottom 15 offense, and you're still just getting lit the fuck up. What do you think about Dallas right now?
Yeah, it feels like the juice has run out. We all had lofty expectations. We were like, surely Luka Doncic being superhuman will be enough for them. But it turns out the only man who can counter him is Jason Kidd. Everyone is worried about Jason Kidd. Do you trust him coaching a playoff series? He even Tim Legler came out on ESPN and he's like, yeah, I'd be worried if I was Jason Kidd. I think he's in trouble. There's a lot of good quotes out of him recently. Have you seen the movie Major League?
Not in a long time. And I might be getting it confused. Is that where Charlie Sheen is Wild Thing? Is that Major League?
It might be. I've never seen it either. But he came out and was talking about Tim Hardaway Jr.'s shooting struggles, and he said, we'll get him a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and put it in his locker." And then I guess it was I guess that's a major league thing, a major league reference. I don't
Sounds
know.
like a racism thing.
Hey,
Off
but
the
Jason
top.
Kidd is black, so he we can hope it's not coming from a white man. So
Yeah.
that's what we can say about that.
Perfect.
Um, so, but on losing 5 out of 6 games, he said Rome wasn't built in a day. That's facts. That's facts. That's
I
true.
saw somebody quote that quote on Twitter, and they said Rome wasn't built by a fucking dumbass either. And it had like 10,000 likes. That killed me. Oh man.
um, uh, on on not calling timeouts, he said, "I'm watching just like you guys." Like, yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, I saw someone made like this huge word cloud. They're like, pick out the fake Jason Kidd quote, and it was all these terrible quotes. And I think the fake one, I hope it was fake, was I didn't even hit her that hard. I hope that's fake. I
Yeah,
googled it and I didn't see anything.
I saw that. I saw that quote as well. Or the cloud of words, and it was yeah. There's a lot of bad ones in there. He is a little bit stupid. I'm not gonna lie. So
Great
yeah,
player, bad person, bad coach.
I know, and he really got in under the wire in terms of like being a bad person with very little professional consequence.
Yeah.
Like Miles Bridges could be a fucking savant. He's not getting hired as a coach in like 20 years. That's not going down. But Jason Kidd, I mean, he was just like a fucking scumbag. And the Mavs, it's so funny. Like, how does a bad person have this long of a leash? Also, it's not like the Mavs have been dominant schematically during his tenure. Like, it's not just the fact that they haven't had the bodies around Luka to succeed. It's also the fact that he's not really like doing a ton of creative shit on either end of the floor. And so it's just like, oh, what is he doing here? So if he lost his job, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
And the Mavericks are a team that had a scandal where like they were having like their GM or something sexually harassing women. They had like a terrible work culture of sexual harassment and stuff like that. There was a huge investigation. There's a whole thing. Mark Cuban's like, I don't know about it. I didn't know about it. They're like, but I don't know. You say you control everything. You say you're involved with everything. Surely you heard about it. But to go from that scandal and then hire Jason Kidd, I don't know how they got away with that.
I
He's
saw
crazy.
like a great conspiracy theory. It might have been on Reddit, so you might have seen it as well. Where it was like it was when Mark Cuban sold all of his shit to like essentially get out of the company, but stay in
Mhm.
charge of like basketball operations. And it was like, dude, feels like something's coming down the pipeline in a couple months. And nothing is like borne out from that decision, but it is just weird that he's like, I want to be involved with the team anymore, but I want to be able to walk away whenever I want. I want to just be able to leave this in the dust. That's a little bit concerning if you're a Mavs fan who can't emotionally leave them in the dust.
I think it's like a gambling deal. I think it has something to do with he wants to build casinos.
Wow, what a fucking creative use of your money, man. Holy, no one's tapped into the gambling market yet. Oh my god, it's like
This Jason Kidd Mark Cuban Mavericks segment is brought to you by my car noises because I got to plug in my phone.
hey, there we go. Ding ding ding. All right. That's probably a good time to move on. I said the Miami win was good. Hopefully, you can get them back on track a little bit. Bam's life was pretty hard in that Miami game. He had 14 points on 40% true shooting. Dallas had a lot of size to kind of counter. He's already a little undersized, and so like if you have a bunch of centers to just throw out there and tire him out, uh, his life is difficult. But other than that, just yeah, not a great stretch of basketball for Dallas. The Warriors 2-2 in their last four. wins over the Bucks and the Raptors, losses to the Celtics and the Bulls. The Celtics loss, humiliating. What do you think about the Warriors right now?
Yeah, they got thumped by them. They left Jaylen Brown open on purpose, and he was making the threes. But I'll tell you what, I came online and I said, that might not be the craziest strat. I'd like to see it tried out again. Maybe not against Jaylen Brown, but maybe against some other guys.
I wrote down the exact same thing. And I specifically wrote it about Jaylen Brown. Going into that game, over his last 16, Jaylen Brown was shooting 28% from three on 5 takes per game. And so like everybody acting like even on a fine stretch of basketball, acting like leaving Jaylen Brown open is going to condemn you to a fucking 50-point loss. That's a bit much. Like there's more at play here. But, like, especially coming off this abysmal shooting stretch, I don't know. It didn't seem like an insane play. If you're Steve Kerr, it's like, if he can't hit him, maybe we've got an angle here. This is a fucking, like, this is the shadow of the Colossus that we're playing, and we are handily outclassed in terms of talent when it comes to this team. So we kind of got to take a risk, and it did not pan out. But other than that, they did have, who were their wins again? The Bucks win was pretty good. The Bucks win.
Yeah, they thumped the Bucks. They ended their 6-game winning streak.
The reverse thump. There we go. Other than
and
that,
they beat the Raptors.
Equally impressive. Raptors. Scotty Barnes next Giannis. Many people are saying this, so it's kind of like beating like prime Giannis a few years before he was in his prime. It's like beating. There's like a Terminator time travel situation.
In 2015, we beat Giannis in the playoffs before he was Giannis.
I like that. So if you don't put that part on, you just beat Giannis in the playoffs, and it might be like MVP Giannis if people are too lazy to look it up. I don't know. Steph, it feels like the variance that comes with his age is starting to creep in a little bit more. He's still one of the best players on the planet. He's still phenomenal, but you will get like a 15-point stinker every 6 games now, and that's just not the kind of consistency we've come to know from him. That felt like a big reason they lost to Chicago, if I remember correctly. He did not play particularly well in that game.
I think he got hurt as well.
Oh shit! Well, that's not good.
He rolled his ankle.
Whoa! All the critics that didn't want to give him the max when he was 22.
They were right.
They were right.
It's health risk.
They just come out of the fucking woodwork.
Told you. No way those ankles rolled up.
Hell yeah, man. Clay off the bench. He's been 17, 3-2 on 61% true shooting. He's 43% from 3 on just under 9 attempts per game. He had what win was it? I think the Bulls game. He had 16 points in the first quarter or the first half, and that really the Bulls. They ended.
He hates the Bulls. He broke I think he set his record against the Bulls, the most 3-pointers in half or a game or something like that.
Based. That's so fun. What a weird team to hate. Did they pass on him a couple times or?
Well, you know what it might be related to. We were one of, I think, in the 15-16 season, I think the Warriors lost at home twice, and we were one of those teams that they lost to on a Derrick Rose buzzer beater. So,
damn, that's crazy. I don't remember that, but yeah,
it was a horrible game for him. But he stepped back and kissed himself, and we beat him.
Derrick G. Rose. The G stands for get buckets.
God, Stacey King, what a legend.
Lady Joestar's here. Yay! Oh, she got fucking Girl Scout cookies, baby. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. Put the Thin Mints in the freezer, please. we know ball around here. All right, we're done talking about the Warriors. Oh,
well, wait. I want to say some more things about the Warriors. We're in our Deezus and Mero era. We're breaking apart. We're colliding.
Oh shit! All right, well, cook on the Warriors then. Let's see it.
Well, number one, going back to the Jaylen Brown thing, I just remembered it's funny. They left Jaylen Brown wide open and they got beat partly because of it. And everyone's like, these idiots. And I had forgotten I only remember this because it popped up in my YouTube recommendations. I had forgotten game 1 of the finals between the Warriors and the Celtics. Remember, Ime was like, "We're gonna play drop coverage on Steph Curry. We're not gonna have everyone. We're not gonna have someone up there to
I
beat him."
forgot about that.
And he just obliterated them. They're like, "Okay, maybe we're not gonna do that." So it's funny. Like everyone's like, "You can't leave Jaylen Brown open. He's Jaylen Brown. Just because he's not a shooter doesn't mean you can leave him." And then Ime Udoka's like, "Yes, best shooter ever. Let him take him. Let him fly." But yeah, outside of that, Trace Jackson Davis. Steve Kerr said he wants to play Trace Jackson Davis for longer and longer stretches. He blocked Giannis back to back, 2 blocks in
Holy
a row,
shit.
and then caught a lob on the other end. And so everyone's coming into full force for the Warriors. And then Steph Curry's having a 4th kid. Wow. And then the last thing, the boob lady, she got edited out of the picture. Did you see
I
that?
forgot about that. Yeah, I did. That's crazy. Do you want to tell? That's kind of like a tapped in to NBA Twitter moment. So maybe elaborate a little more for the listeners.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a crime to have boobs now. It's illegal to have big boobs
During Women's History Month too.
During Women's History, there's a long story tradition of big boobs, I'd say. Steph Curry did this cool celebration where it's actually not that cool, but I'm not a golfer, but he did a celebration where he's hitting a ball like a putter, and
That's
then in the background you see and then in the background you see the crowd, and there's a lady with big boobs almost popping out of her shirt, and she's standing up cheering, going, "Yeah!" And then the guy sitting in front of her is just completely turned around, staring directly at her, not looking at Steph Curry. And so it was a funny moment. Everyone's like, "All right, yeah, big boob lady." And then the official NBA Twitter account tweeted up the picture, or maybe it's the ESPN account. They edited her out. They put in a completely different crowd in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up with that?
I don't know. They hate big boob lady. That's sad. She paid to be there. She paid to be in the pictures. So that's fucked up.
I don't know if she paid for the boobs. They might have been natural.
I don't know. Adam Silver. He's like Stalin.
He hates boobs for sure.
Oh, absolutely. They probably fuck up his weird computer brain. I'll say that much.
So he can talk about underwear in public, but there can't be boobs in a picture.
I guess not. I guess the NBA's slut angle, it's been erased. It's not going down like that anymore. Maybe that's just for the men. Maybe it's
boobs
a man's world.
Unacceptable. Bombing Cambodia to smithereens acceptable for Adam Silver. You heard it here first.
Yeah. I wonder what Henry Kissinger thought about big boobs. I have to. He was probably pretty pro. It was was it the 60s?
I mean, he was alive forever.
Yeah. Well, fuck that guy. Fuck Henry Kissinger. Mild fuck Adam Silver. But well, I'll censor this. I'll go back. I will Stalin this episode if you bring us out to All-Star 2025, baby. I'll
press him to his face. Why are you taking boobs out of the game?
I don't know. Hater shit. Real hater shit. This is a fun conflict of interest. We have a different lobbyist request. Direct conflict with the Herb Jones.
He's anti-boob? Oh.
No. No.
He's like, talk about how the boob lady sucks. It should
talk
be
about how the
boob.
yeah, she should be fucking killed. Oh my god. The lobbyists, they said Draymond is still a top 3 defender in the world. Let the world remember. And so, assuming Gobert is 1, it feels like Wemby's running away with 2 right now. I get that the team is bad. He's so fucking crazy to watch. And so like, I don't know, like, is it Draymond? Is it Herb? Is it Jared Allen? What do we got for that 3rd spot? I really like Draymond for all the crazy shit this season. Does not feel like he's taken a step back defensively or as a passer. He was never much of a scorer. It's kind of taken a little bit of a step, but his shooting is back up, so that's good. But as far as defense goes, he's still right there. He's one of the best. What do you think about Draymond this year?
I think, yeah, who did you say Gobert was 1?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's like DPOY stuff, which you could maybe differentiate from like best defender talks, because he regresses in the postseason or something like that. So, yeah, let's just say like best defenders. Let's say Gobert is one. What do you think?
I'll tell you what. I think Draymond is still. I think he's for sure top 3. I think he's in the convo for number 1. I really think the world of him defensively. I think he's just a genius on that. Draymond is fascinating because on the court he's a complete and utter defensive basketball genius. But then off the court he talks about basketball kind of like a casual. Like he has some bizarre takes that are like, what did he say about the MVP race in Tatum? He said something. He said like, if you put something about Wemby in the Defensive Player of the Year race and then Tatum in the MVP race. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw that quote where he's like, if you put Wemby in the DPOY race, even though his team is bad, you have to put Tatum in the MVP race, even though his team is good. Those two things feel like they mean the opposite of each other now that I'm saying it out loud like that.
Yeah. So because you're judging Wemby based off his individual statistics, you have to not judge Tatum based off his individual statistics. Bizarre take. And he says a lot of he's a guy who likes to praise his friends. I'll say that.
Yeah. Everybody, Iguodala's the same way. Maybe the Warriors are just in like a fucking propaganda
and
camp
Iguodala
over
was
there.
genius on defense too, because I think he thinks like Kyrie's like a top 10 player ever or something like that.
Perfect, cool.
But I think Draymond for sure. I would have him top 3. I think there's an argument for one because like as soon as he came back and they inserted him at center, they became the best defense or one of the best defenses in the NBA. His switchability, he could still protect the rim. He directs traffic for them. Like he's like saved their season, even though it's not fully saved yet. He carries on that end. So I think Draymond is amazing. I think he is a bad person though, because for all the reasons we know, he attacks people. He's annoying. He said Miles Bridges can do no wrong. So hate the man. Love the sin.
Hey,
If you want
to hate angle for Draymond, no cool plays. All of the Draymond impacts plays are plays that even if you've watched basketball for 10 years, you just go, oh, nice, good rotation. Like it's never like Jared Allen. You get 2 plays a game where you're like, oh shit, oh my god. But with Draymond, it's just like, oh, that was smart. He saw that one coming. Kuminga was out of position there, and he got into the right spot. That's really good. Did you see that charge? Whoa. So yeah. I said Kuminga, outside of his athleticism, really fast specifically. Like it's crazy to watch him in the open court with the ball. Just like it wasn't against Aaron Gordon. Maybe it was against Giannis. Somebody who you just like in your mind, you're like, that's a really good athlete. And he just completely fucking evaporated past them. Like they didn't even get to use their physicality because he's so much quicker than them. I like that a lot. He's fun to watch. That's all I got on the Warriors.
Yeah, that's all good. We got all our boob lady thoughts out. So
yeah, shout out to her. Sorry you got erased from history for Steph. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, why golf is boring? Why are you bringing the boring sport of golf into our beautiful sport of basketball? Nobody asked for that. If you have to wear a collared shirt, I don't want to watch it. Get it out of my face. Lakers 2-2 in their last 4. Wins over the Wizards and the Thunder, losses to the Nuggets and the Kings. AD dominated by Europe like colonialism. That's what I wrote down here. Well, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess he'd be dominated by like he'd be like Ireland or something in the colonialism talks, but still. And then they're the 3rd worst defense in the NBA since the All-Star break. They're 5th worst in opponent second chance points. 8th worst in opponent fast break points. I almost said free throw points. And they're 4th worst in opponent points in the paint. So it goes Mavericks, Wizards, and then Lakers right at the 3rd worst. What do you think about LA recently?
Yeah, they beat OKC, but it was a fraud win. LeBron broke 40K, but it was in a loss to Jokic, fraud. Yeah, the Kings went on a 16-3 run on them, and the starter. So there's lots of Darvin Ham slander out there, and it might be valid. So the first quarter, this is against the Kings. The first quarter, with 1 minute left in the first quarter, the Lakers are up 37-18. By the beginning of the third quarter, with 11 minutes left, and yes, from the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the third quarter, they went down 77-57. So I don't know how that happened, from 37-18 down 77-57. Bad news.
What kind of a run is that? So 77 minus 18. Let me do some math real quick. 77 minus 18. That's a 59-20 run in favor of Sacramento over the course of that like quarter and a half or whatever. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Darvin Ham is getting all the slander. Max Lewis liked a tweet that was a report saying the players don't like Darvin Ham. A report came out that said LeBron like rolls his eyes in the huddles and stuff, and gets rid of the Darvin Ham play calls when they walk out on the court. He's like, we're not doing that. We're doing this instead. And so very believable because it's LeBron, and I feel like we get this exact story every time he has a coach he doesn't like. He's like, yeah, we're not doing that. But also, do you know about Darvin Ham's storage unit?
No, I do not. Please elaborate.
So somebody bought a store. You know how they have storage units when you don't pay your storage unit fee, they put it up for auction, and
Storage Wars.
They can just buy it. Somebody bought a storage unit, and they found out it was Darvin Ham's, and they said it had NBA documents in there. All I saw was like an ID tag that was like Darvin Ham, Hawks assistant or whatever, and so it had all of Darvin Ham's stuff in it. But so lack of attention to detail, laziness. What does this indicate about Darvin Ham? That he let his storage fee lapse to the point where they're just selling off all his stuff. Like, does he even know about it? Does he even care? Is this the guy you want coaching your team?
Probably not. Maybe all his adjustments were in there too. Maybe. Whoa, sick burn. Thanks. Yeah, he's not good. And if he gets into, I mean, I don't know. Malone's a good coach. Finch is a pretty good coach. Dagnall's a good coach. It doesn't feel like there's like a Spoelstra in the West where it's just like if you're a stupid guy running a team. Yeah, you have Ime Udoka feels kind of like that, but the Rockets stink. Popovich, the Spurs stink. So I don't know. Most scenarios, you're probably not going to have you're not going to get circles coached around you, but you'll still be pretty heavily outclassed. Yeah, he just doesn't seem super good at his job.
We need a Jason Kidd Darvin Ham playoff classic.
I could see the play-in game happening. I don't know if we'll get the full series out of those two teams.
Let's get one of them to first seed. Guys, smash that like button, and if we hit 1 million, we'll get the Mavs to the first seed.
We'll get them. We'll step in. We'll
intervene.
We're gonna do a coup on Adam Silver, and we're taking over, baby. The state of the league. We mean that very literally now.
And we're installing the boob lady as our puppet commissioner, but it's us behind the scenes.
All right, shadow government style, baby. Lakers. What did I say? Oh, their next 4 are against the Bucks, Wolves, Kings, and Warriors. I'm excited to see how that stretch goes. That's gonna be a pivotal little run for them in a very tight play-in race. But I don't know, the play-in, you're not really at risk of falling completely out because they are 4-5 games ahead of the Utah Jazz, 4.5 games. So I don't know. It would just be, they'd be like really solidified as the 10 seed if they get swept over the next 4. But anything's possible. Oh, speaking of the Jazz. Oh, I wish I had a soundboard. I wish I had more monumental music to build up to this moment. He's dropping his phone. He's nervous because we have to talk about Ice Bryce Sensabaugh's first NBA start. What do you think about the Utah Jazz lately?
The Utah Jazz are a team full of terrorists, a team full of basketball terrorists. Will Hardy is a terrorist coach. Jordan Clarkson is a terrorist player. Colin Sexton is a terrorist player. And and they run lineups that are terrorist lineups. Like I don't think Juzang himself, Johnny Juzang, is a terrorist. I don't think Luka Samanic is inherently a terrorist. But when you throw out these lineups where everyone, it's like being on a pickup basketball team where everyone is like, yeah, when I get the ball, I'm not passing.
I'm
It's
shooting this
like that.
bitch.
Yeah, I'm letting it fly. I'm the guy here, and so when like Luka Samanic gets the ball, he's like, well, I might not get it again. I got to shoot now. So not the best situation, but they finally brought up Ice Bryce. He's after the entire G League froze over because he froze the entire G League with his greatness, and he went to everyone's statue and knocked them over, and they all shattered. He came up to the NBA, got his first start, and what does he do? 15 and 12. Clutch offensive rebounds. It should have been, he had 8 points in the first quarter. Very easily, this could have been a 25 or 30-point game if they had just passed to him when he was open, if they had just let him cook, let him go down to the mid-range. The Bulls broadcast was in awe of him. They were like, this guy's they said this multiple times. They're like, he's built like a running back. This guy's built like a linebacker. This guy's huge. And yeah, everything is coming together. Historic shooting talent, boosted by in immeasurable power and strength.
Intangibles. Knows where to be. Knows where to be to make the right play, and has
the least selfish Jazz player, basketball savant genius, and part of the Ice Bryce nickname I'm now learning is you need an ice pack when you're done guarding him, because if he drives into you, bit him. He took Bryce's shoulder and went flying. Kobe White got shoved by Bryce.
Weight room, baby.
Flying. DeRozan got shoved by Bryce. Went flying. Did you see his behind the backboard shot? That's historic.
I did.
Larry Bird type
touch. That would have been sick. Yeah, he's built for that moment. The Utah Jazz are not built for him. I didn't realize, because watching the Jazz, what I've watched of them this season, Clarkson's a fairly willing playmaker with a big man in like a pick and roll setting. Like, he shoots the ball most of the time, but I didn't realize it was like this, where like I'm waiting because I want Bryce to get a shot because I know you'll be like, yay. And so like I'm waiting specifically for that play, and it's open. It's wide open for the entire fourth quarter. Clarkson's drawing like 3 defenders, and he is just in the corner like, I'm so fucking ready for this. And it never comes. It was like 5 possessions where the pass just never came. And it's like, dude, Sexton and Clarkson, Clark Sex Clark, there, it's the worst kick out backcourt in the league. It's terrible. And so that's sad. I'm sorry that he has to go through that, but adversity, when you're young, it leads, he will be willing to make that extra pass because he'll know what it's like to stand in the corner and be able to make the play and never get the ball. When he's running this league, when he's a superstar, he will have the presence of mind to do all the shit that Jordan Clarkson is not allowing him to do right now. So yeah, other than that, good job beating the Wizards if you're the Jazz. Other than that, it was like not a super eventful week for them.
Colin Sexton, if that buzzer beater shot went to Bryce, they would have won. But Colin Sexton, fake confidence, one dribble when you're wide open from 3. Okay, all right. So
it's a 2-point game, pal.
You know what they were saying about Wemby? They were like, is he too good too soon? We need to speed this up. We need to go win mode right now. I feel that way about the Jazz. I think you need to win right now.
Win right now. Put all your chips to the middle. Why'd you trade Kelly Olynyk for a first? You could have traded him for, I don't know, Scotty Barnes. The way the Raptors are valuing him,
better, but
something better. Yeah,
that we know.
Yeah, we know ball, and we're not telling you. We're kind of keeping our cards close to our chest because we're up for a couple.
We get a job off.
Yeah, we're up for a couple GM jobs this summer, so we're gonna be locked in on that shit. This podcast is probably gonna end because we're gonna get fined for tampering. Because we're gonna be like, hey, Bryce, we're getting you Wemby. Don't worry, bud.
Trey Murphy will go wherever we say. Yeah.
Yes.
He's coming to Charlotte.
We're gonna send the SUVs. Big boob lady's gonna be in there, and she's gonna be like, Trey, you're going to Utah, and he'll be like, sorry, Herb, see you later, bud. All right, that's it for the Jazz. What a fun little dissociation. Us as GMs, us as secret shadow government commissioners. The Rockets, 2-2 in their last 4. Wins over the Spurs and the Suns, a loss to the Suns, and then they lost to the Clippers as well. I don't have a ton on them. They let the Clippers come back from down 20, but alternatively, Şengün scored 45 against Wembanyama. So Rockets stock probably up overall over the past week.
Well, not fully, because Tari Eason had season-ending surgery. Rest in peace. Şengün dedicated that game to Tari Eason. What did he say? Yeah, he said he did it for Tari Eason and that he loves him. Everyone loves Tari Eason. Shout out to his mom. Follow his mom on Twitter. She posted a video of him being wheeled out of the hospital, and she's like, and he's being wheeled out by this white nurse lady, and she has like the Karen haircut, and she has like a Southern accent, and his mom's like, tell the camera what you just said. Tell him what you just said. And she's like, he looks like R. Kelly. And she's like, it's like I'm working with R. Kelly. It was a funny moment. So shout out to Tari Eason's
I think it's
mom.
a little bit different than working with R. Kelly, nurse lady. I think your
I
experience was probably a little better with Tari Eason.
He was like, come on. He was like, come on, leave
this guy looks like O.J. Simpson. What the hell?
It's like, I didn't pee on anyone. Şengün dropped 45, 16, and 3 against Wemby. Wemby had 10 points on 10 shots. So not only did he wreck him on offense, he shut him down on defense. I don't even know if he was guarding him. But yeah, he got blocked 5 times by Wemby. But he kept going. He kept going.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Skip Bayless. He was so impressed.
The perseverance to keep going until somebody else is guarding you. And then he went like 11 of 15 on every other Spurs player. He absolutely fucking torched them. That was so, I saw that stat and I was like, I'm not bringing that up. He cooked Wemby.
And he said they weren't doubling me, and so it was just Wemby, and he is tall right now, but he's not very strong. So he's just like using his butt and bumping him out of the way and stuff. But he also had a triple-double in a loss to the Clippers, 23, 19, and 14. What a monster. But yeah, all I have after that is EPM loves Amen Thompson's defense. He's like a top 4 defensive guard, top like 12 player in the NBA by defensive EPM or something already. And then Jalen Green's highlights are so good. Like, if you just see highlights of Jalen Green, you got to wonder, why can't you be Anthony Edwards? Why not, Jalen?
Doesn't got it like that. He doesn't have that dog in him. Anthony Edwards is also buff. Like, he's strong.
Yeah, he's more powerful. But but Green is like, I saw a play, like, he did like this crazy spin move when they tried to pick him up in half court. He blows by them, and then he zooms past everybody, jumps up, reverse layup. He's got elasticity. He's got electricity. He's got speed. I don't know. He's and he's got a handle. So
it also helps that Anthony
Edwards
live
at the rim more.
Anthony Edwards jumped to a 38% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And Green's at 31%. And so like when people have to mildly close out on you, the athleticism and the burst is like a cheat code. But when you're a shot that they're like, fucking shoot it, we don't care, it's a little bit harder to exploit that defense. So yeah, I don't know. Jalen Green, the highlights rock. There's promise there. He's still only like 22. But it's also it's tough because you're not really going. It doesn't feel like you're going to get like an Andrew Wiggins arc out of him. It's like he'll be good or he will not be good. Like you're not going to get like a defensive minded role player who does the dirty work out of Jalen Green. You'll either get a star or just like a Jamal Crawford type guy.
Yeah, I don't know if his future is in Houston, but I just hope he gets to a situation where someone gets through to him and they're like, hey, if you just attacked the rim all game long, things would go pretty well for you.
Remember when you flew by that guy and he like didn't even. It was like instant transmission type shit. Rest in
Remember
peace
when you
to
jumped over everybody?
yeah. Do that every time. All right, Grizzlies. I have nothing. 2-2 in the last 4. Wins over the Sixers and Nets. Lost to Portland twice. Literally, that's all I wrote down. What do you think about the Grizzlies lately?
They beat Brooklyn and they beat Philly without Maxey. Luke Kennard, 25-point game, 25-2-7. People are wondering, should Point Kennard be the rest of the season? Should they run Point Kennard?
Do it. I don't care.
Wenyen Gabriel signed to a 10-day contract. So Desmond Bain might be coming back eventually. So
Wenyen Gabriel's he's one of the Austin Reeves and the Taylor Horton Tuckers that didn't work out. Like Wenyen Gabriel was primed to be like a guy who averages like 10 on 57%, and SportsCenter's like, holy, look at this putback. Oh my God. But never really worked out. I like Wenyen Gabriel. I hope he figures it out in Memphis. He seems like a guy who's young to me. He seems like a guy where in my brain I'm like, he's young, and then I check Basketball Reference and he's 27, and I'm like, oh,
he's
okay.
probably like 25 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I have nothing on the Grizzlies. Do you want to do Blazers?
Let's blaze up.
Let's blaze up like the Kings guy. Vivek, come on, man. Pull out your vape, bro. 2-2 in their last 4. They beat the Grizzlies twice. They lost to the Thunder and the Timberwolves. Duop Reith, 26 points versus Gobert. He's him. The propaganda is raining down. The pamphlets. Supreme Leader Duop Reith. Yeah, that's all I got for Portland.
Ryan Rupert, 13 points on 7 shots. He's the next Ntilikina, guys. What if Ntilikina had burst off the dribble? That's Ryan Rupert.
He'd have an even cooler 2K card. He wouldn't just be pink diamond.
Yeah.
He'd have the Galaxy Opal.
Oh, okay. I never played my team because it's pay to win.
You want some real embarrassing shit? I didn't play it. This is real embarrassing. I know that from watching Jesser the Laser YouTube videos back in like 2015.
Yeah, I never watched. I think my brother watched him. Yeah, they yeah. Good news for the Blazers. They won back-to-back games. Bad news, it was against the Grizzlies. So
congratulations.
Yeah, that's it. Shout out Duop Reith. What a monster.
All right, and finishing it up, Spurs 2-2 in their last 4. They beat the Pacers. They beat OKC. They lost to the Rockets, and they lost to the Kings without Wemby. Fake loss. What do you think about the Spurs?
Is Wemby holding Zach Collins back?
Almost certainly. Zach Collins could be 9 points and 11 rebounds as a starter. And
22,
they would
7 and 4 versus the Kings without Wemby. Let that sink in.
I'll let that sink in. Got owned by Michael Porter Jr. Dunked on him and then stared him down. And Zach Collins tried to fight him and got ejected. I think that was 2 years ago.
Big, great judge of character, Zach Collins, maybe. Şengün dominated Wemby, so bad. This is bad week for the Spurs because you find out Wemby's the second best center on your team and fourth best center in Texas. Lively, Şengün, I don't know. They played a close game without Wemby. So the Spurs broke a record for the most consecutive games with 20 plus assists. And so this was 121 games. So this spans into last season as well. The previous record was 120 games by the 84-86 Lakers. So the Showtime Lakers. So even in I don't know if this is completely meaningless because of the pace or something, but even in these trash Spurs years, Popovich's got to move in the ball. So they're scoring with assists. Malachi Branham is Ice Bryce 1.0. People don't know this, but he was the year before Ice Bryce, he was also an Ohio State guard who was a really good mid-range shooter. He just didn't have the physical tools, and he wasn't the greatest three-point shooter ever. And he didn't
unlike Bryce, obviously.
Confidence. Yeah, he's not experiencing all realities at once. So he's Ice Bryce 1.0, the imperfect version,
Okay.
like Cell before he absorbed everyone.
All right.
Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama.
I know. I never watched Dragon Ball.
Not even DBZ.
No, dude, because my mom was weirdly strict about shit with the TV.
My mom got weird about that for a little bit too, but I just
I don't know. Well, also like my friends in school would hype it up, and I would turn it on, and I there's a large pool of evidence that I have ADHD, and so it'd be like 45 seconds of like and I'd be like, damn, I'm not locking in on this, guys. I gotta go do something else. I can't watch this. And so yeah, maybe is it narratively like phenomenal? Does it blow you away, or is it just like like foundational to anime as a whole?
So it's narratively, like, the story itself won't blow you away, but it is compelling. It is like a fine story. It's not like One Piece or something, or like Jujutsu Kaisen. Really, like, the story won't blow you away. But just
Oh shit, we
like,
got to talk about that too. After I forgot about Jujutsu Kaisen.
but just the character design is great, the powers and everything, the vibes, the art, and it was like the first of its kind. It was like the first battle shonen or whatever. So there is no One Piece, there is no Naruto, there is no nothing if this didn't come first. And then I think it still holds up. I think it's still fun to watch. I love the Cell arc, I love the Boo arc. And then Dragon Ball, I never finished. Some of my friends love Dragon Ball. It's like a fun adventure type show. So
Okay.
it is not, it's not like Bob Cousy. It's like
It's like
I don't
Isaiah
know.
Thomas. It's
I don't
like
know who it would be. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, maybe Isaiah Thomas.
how many episodes are in Dragon Ball Z? Let's check this out.
Dragon.
291? Fuck. All right. Well, maybe I'll lock into that at some point in the future. But
Definitely some pacing issues, which One Piece inherited. But yeah, still an all time great show. I love GT. I really like GT as well, but I think he didn't write that. And I never watched Super. So, but shout out to Toriyama, one of the goats.
yeah, rest in peace. That's just such a ubiquitous piece of media. It's been everywhere. Forever. All right. I forgot to mention we were supposed to propagandize Shangoon. That was a lobbyist request.
We did.
So I'll say Shangoon, like probably on like Shangoon, Paolo, and Scotty. If you had to rank those, it would take me a sec. I would have to think about everything. So he's in like that fringe East All-Star category. He's probably not like a West All-Star though.
Yeah, I would put him number one of that group. I think he's good. What's it called? Oh yeah, should we talk about the Wemby? Is there a clock ticking on Wemby? I say no.
No, golly. Like literally every time they put Wembanyama in front of a microphone, he's like, "You guys have no idea how much fun it is to talk to Greg Popovich and be here." And I'm like, I love it here. I'm so excited, and I have so much confidence that they can build around me, and even my teammates that aren't good, I love them so much. And the national media 30 seconds later is like, "This guy fucking hates it here," and he's going to New York or he's going to LA.
Austin Reeves for Wemby. Remember, World Cup performer.
Hey, Austin. I did think that was a Simmons pill that got really deep in my brain. Is that the Spurs were going to throw a lot of money at Reeves this offseason.
He was so mad about that.
It's the Reeves contract is still like phenomenal value. Like it sucks. I don't know. That's Lakers hate jumping out. It sucks that the Lakers got a break on like a cheap good player.
Yeah.
Because like he's worth a lot more than that, but nobody really had the funds to go out and chase him that it was in position to need a player of his caliber. So yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Austin Reeves. Shout out to Missouri Kobe, Mississippi Kobe, whatever his dumb nickname
I think he's from
is.
Arkansas, and Arkansas has a surprising amount of active NBA players. Like all the guys who went to Arkansas are from Arkansas mostly. So
that
like
makes sense.
Austin Reeves, Jalen Williams, the big man, Isaiah Joe. I think Malik Monk is from Arkansas. There's like 8 guys from Arkansas.
Damn.
So shout out Arkansas, the hotbed of basketball talent.
Yeah. Arkansas. Here, it's not just basketball, but it's also not like Indiana. It's different. All right. Awards. Jeremy Lin Insanity Player of the Week. Who do you got?
I have the man himself, Alperen Şengün, for his Wemby masterclass and for his triple double.
Okay. All right. Right on. A little less creative pick for me. Jokic. Nuggets 3-1. 28-12 and 8 on 62% true shooting. And he had 2 games that fucking tanked his efficiency. He was like 40% from the field against Miami and against Phoenix. Nurkic fucking babied him. That made me so mad. But the 3 wins were good.
Yeah,
I
mean, Nurkic is in the Western Conference, so you could have put him.
I could have, but he put up an Andre Drummond stat line, so I don't care. I'm not moved by your 30 rebounds, Nurkic. I don't care. But he cooked Jokic. He owned Jokic, so I care about that. Ferris Bueller's week off. Who do you have?
Every other Jazz player outside of Bryce Sensabaugh. It's a different spin on the award, but I'm upset at all of them.
Hey, there you go. Fuck everybody else. Bryce should literally be playing 1-on-5. He might as well be. He's playing 1-on-9 out there with as much as he gets the ball. It's ridiculous. I had Tim Hardaway Jr. 7 point. I thought about just putting Jason Kidd up there, but I went with the more traditional route of a player. Hardaway Jr. He's hitting like Tobias Harris levels of Twitter hate, like fans of the team hating on a player on the roster. They hate this guy, and this week it's easy to see why. 7
Shout
points.
out Montaigne. He hates this guy.
He hates Tobias Harris, or he hates Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
I mean, he's not. It's weird because he is good sometimes, but when he's not, he's bad. Oh, geez. 7 points, 2 rebounds, 41% true shooting. Mavs 1-3 this week with the 10th worst bench in the league, even though Tim Hardaway Jr. was supposed to be like a fringe, like a 4th, 5th, 6th man of the year candidate, and yeah, just a nasty shit, stinky from him.
Should have learned that crossover from his dad.
He should have, and instead he learned nothing. He learned well. He's probably better than his dad because we're done with the.
He's shooting it. Wait, he's better at what?
He's better than his dad. We're done with the 90s. You didn't let me finish. We're done with the 90s, baby. So he's better than his dad.
Done with the 90s. Oh my God, Chilltown is gonna have an aneurysm.
Oh, dude, I've seen his videos. I'm nervous just because like he's from an era where like everybody deserves a say, and you have to hear everybody out, and you kind of like they didn't just tell people to shut the fuck up back then, because now someone's like, we're done with the 90s. I'm like, cool. Oh man, you got me. Michael Jordan actually sucks. He's not good. But yeah, Chilltown. He's like, this is why you're wrong. As if you could ever possibly convince somebody like that. I don't know. Poor guy, man.
Oh man. Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. spent too much time learning to shoot threes like a Nancy boy, not a Larry Nance Nancy boy, but like an 80s slur for someone lame and weak Nancy boy. Should have learned the UTEP 2-step.
Yeah, should have done it. And instead, your Ferris Bueller's week off on the State of the League, baby. Forks, Cousin Richie, comeback player of the week. Throwback to earlier in this episode. Michael Porter Jr., that's who I wrote down. Nuggets are 3-1 this week. He had 9 points versus Boston, and he still averaged 21, 7, and 2 on 69% true shooting. 45% from 3, which like he's been a good shooter this year, but like he can be like elite, like 45% level, and so it's cool to see him get back up to that level, high volume, like 8 attempts per game or something. Who did you have for this award?
My player is a better shooter than Michael Porter Jr. Bryce Sensabaugh. Bryce Sensabaugh.
How can you come back from nothing? How can you come back from nothing? Explain that to me.
He came back from being underestimated in the draft, knee surgery, slips to 28, shoved down in the G League, finally gets called up, given scraps. Tony Stark built the Iron Man suit in a cave with scraps. Bryce Sensabaugh finally gets starters minutes. He finally bashes Will Hardy's head in with a mallet and says, "Play me and I'll do good stuff." And it's finally worked out. So the feeling that cousin Richie had in the Forks episode is the feeling I had watching Bryce Sensabaugh play this basketball game.
Hell yeah. And now you're wearing, look at you. You're walking around wearing suits too. It's just your life has changed. We can be alone, something. I actually like this song, but I don't know the lyrics off the top of my head. Other than that, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe Clutch Player of the Week. I had who did you have?
Sabonis. He had a game-winning steal and dunk against the Spurs.
Lame. His dunk was lame too. Because the dunk, it's weird. Because he's like athletic and can dunk, but like he never, even his hard dunks, like he holds his arm, he never cocks it back or anything. So
yeah,
boo, no
he's
style
got
points.
arms.
Anthony Edwards, 16 in the fourth versus Indiana, and the game-saving block. That was cool. Hit his head on the rim. That's what a real athlete does. Concusses himself.
I don't think you guys realize how much that hurts. That hurts, man.
If you've ever hit your head on like a cabinet that was left open,
or the rim, if you've been up there. I don't know if you guys have been up there, but it hurts when you're up there.
What were you like, changing the net and you like bent and you like stood up on a ladder and you hit your head on it, or?
No, I jumped up there. Like,
oh, okay.
Yep.
Like a kid's birthday party, like a bounce house situation, or just like
it was actually like an 11-foot hoop situation, I think.
Oh, okay, we're talking Dwight Howard dunk contest. All right.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty impressive, everybody. That's gonna do it as far as real basketball talk goes. Do you have anything you want to plug? No, everybody. We have nowhere.
Go to the Patreon. Did we tell people at the beginning?
No, but I have a plug pre-recorded that because we did this 2 weeks ago. We did this also, so I just recorded a plug that I can put in at the beginning if we forgot to say it. So yeah, this is getting really meta right now because you guys already heard that plug at the beginning of this episode that I have to go in after this episode and put in. I don't know. I haven't really digested any time travel media recently, but it makes me feel Back to the Future-y, I guess. I don't know.
Hopefully not like Tenet.
I've never seen Tenet. It's supposed to come back into. I talked to. Oh yeah, go check out. I'm on Nerd Sesh. Nerd Sesh. I got it on my hoodie right here. I did an Oscars pod with Carson from Nerd Sesh, and we hated on Tenet for a little bit. He did, at least. Because he's an Inception maxer, and so
I've never seen Inception.
Oh my god, Lady Joestar is cringing off to the side. We were talking about how much we love Inception the other day, so wow. Everyone would love Inception. It's not hard to understand. People were just stupid when it came out. It's one of the best heist movies of all time. Stacked cast, fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy. I can't remember Paige's trans name. I don't want to dead name them.
Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot Page. And yeah, it's a phenomenal cast, phenomenal score. Christopher Nolan, fucking master of his craft. You would love it. Everyone listening would love it. Everyone listening would love the Nerd Sesh Oscars podcast and the stateoftheleague.com/Patreon podcast. That's going to be out tomorrow as well. You got any final closing thoughts for the people?
No. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Leave us alone. Oh my God.